Oh man. All right. Well, Brittany, thank you so much for dealing with the technical difficulties and just for being here today. I'm super excited to talk to you.
Me too. Thank you for having me. I think it's super exciting. I know it's a busy week. We've got the Olympia week, so we've got Amateur Olympia tomorrow,
Yeah.
which I'm very excited about. I've got my schedule planned out to watch it. The Fit Model girls, Bikini and Fit Model should be on. So it's Pacific Standard Time. So it starts at 9 a.m.
Okay.
No, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And they're going to do like women's bodybuilding, physique, I believe fitness, figure fitness, vice versa, wellness, bikini, fit model. So I'm assuming they're going to be on maybe like 1 o'clock Eastern Time, maybe 12:30. I just want to make sure there's uh, enough leeway for me to watch it and give a rundown because I've been trying to pay attention to them. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, that's super exciting. And are you posing anybody in that show?
Yes, yes. I have a girl that's competing. We just did a cleanup today of her posing. Actually, we met at the women's workshops. If you guys are listening, the women's workshop's amazing. If you guys are going, let us know. Bikini, fit model, figure, anybody. It's an only women's workshop. It's in Orlando this year. It was in Orlando the last couple of years. So I will be there and I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sorry if I'm glancing down. I can see you on my desktop and I can't see you on my phone. So I'm trying to like look at the camera, but I want to look at you.
That's okay.
Before we go too far into everything, I did want to just make sure that people know who you are. Like if anyone's just finding their way to this webinar or the recording of it, and you don't already know who Brittni Shae is, she is an IFBB Fit Model Pro. She's
Mhm.
also a mom. She's also the head coach of BShaeFit, and I know that you do everything from lifestyle to competition prep to posing, and you're an occupational therapist by training before you went into coaching, right?
Yes, yeah. So I got my master's degree in 2008 and I worked until 2021 full time while competing. I
Amazing.
Yeah, I was pregnant. I started competing in 2012. Actually, so a little fun story is 2011 I went to the first Olympia of my first Olympia, not the first Olympia. And they just started bikini in 2010. So I think actually it was the first year of bikini Olympia. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they had it in 2010. I would have to check back my history. I do know they started bikini in 2010. So I doubt they had it at the Olympia, but I could be wrong. And I saw it and I was like, oh, what is this? I want to do this. And I wasn't even
Yeah.
aware of any of it. So I did my own contest prep in 2011 and did my first NPC bikini competition in March of 2012 and got like first place. Like the second show I did a week
Awesome.
later, got fourth place in my first show, and then a different federation came in, World Beauty Fitness Fashion in 2013, and I was like, oh, let me do this. This is cool. It's got fitness. It's got like you get wear these costumes and stuff, and I my physique was like on the leaner side. Like I could kind of pass. So I actually got my pro card in fitness, which is so funny because I was tiny. I was smaller than I was in bikini. But yeah, so I spent some years as a pro in that federation. And I did, 4 pro shows. And my last pro show was in 2017. And I took some time off to get married, have a kid, and then I was like, oh, why not? I'll just go back to competing, turning 40, like a little bucket list item. So in 2024, I came back.
Wow.
Yeah, and I went to they had a brand new show called St. Pete Pro in the NPC in Florida. And I was like, that looks fun. It's up the road. Why not? And I self-coached again then and I got like 3 first places in June and I was like, oh, in bikini. And I was like, oh, this is my jam. Like this is cool. Well, then I went to Universe and they were like, lady, you're gonna gain like 5 pounds of muscle. So I was like, oh. So I was ready to take like a year and a half off. I'm a natural athlete, so I was like, I need time. And Fit Model came out. So here we are. Little did I know I was gonna make a full circle. So
But
yeah,
perfect timing.
Yeah, so January, well, December, I decided to switch. I talked to the judges. They're like, that is your division, 100% perfect. So when you have like that much reassurance, like it is your division, you kind of were like, you just throw everything at it. You're like, I guess I'm going to do this because everyone here is saying this is my division. And I was always just on the smaller side, but they always liked my presentation. They liked my overall shape. I just didn't have the density. So I had help this season, Austin, if you're listening. So he did my nutrition coaching, which was awesome. And I definitely needed it because you start getting blurred vision and prep coaching yourself. So I still did my own training, still do my own training, my own posing, but having him there as a support was amazing and took a lot of stress off my body. And like, another side note I didn't even get to tell you is my testosterone was in the hole for a year. Last postseason, it was below 3, like it wasn't even registering.
Wow,
I'm almost at 20 now, 9 weeks post show, we checked it, almost at 20 naturally.
that's
Um,
awesome.
so, inspiration for everyone if you're listening, like you can get it up.
Yeah.
Just, stress management, sleeping more, prep
What
was
was the
good.
timeline of it being low like that? Were you coming off of your bikini season or
Mhm.
like, yeah, is that what kind of
Yeah.
brought it down some?
Yeah. So, in order to do the prep for 2024, I had baby fat, like being pregnant baby fat on me still. So I was like, I need to do a recomp, like, because this was honestly it was just like this random decision. I come up with random decisions. I'm like, I'm gonna compete next June. This was like September, October. Like I didn't even give myself any time to like rebuild. Like I was training, but I wasn't training to compete, right? I'm like, I can
Hmm.
do this, whatever. So I had to do like a mini cut. So I think I was just in a deficit for so long because I did the cut and then I did a maintenance at 2000 calories for a couple months. Then I cut really
Okay.
hard and I got very lean. Like I was a different lean, like similar weight, but a different lean for bikini versus fit model. Um,
Yeah.
and I just kind of like, pushed, but I really only dieted for like 13 weeks. So it wasn't that bad, like aggressive, but I think it all caught up. Plus momming, stressing on my own prep. I had a lot more stress prepping myself because I kept thinking about, am I ready? Do I look the part? Like there's just a lot more and then making those decisions. So that's why having that help this season has been nice. And then I kept him in my
Yeah.
season. So
And what was it like working with Austin? Because that was kind of a unique situation also, because Austin, he preps people and does everything, but you worked with him in kind of a different capacity, right?
yeah, he just, allowed me to have my autonomy. He actually does help a lot of clients that self-coach. I call him the
Hmm.
self-coach coach. So he understands. I actually got connected with him through the coaches mentorship group that Dr. Joe had. I had followed Dr. Joe's YouTube Contest Prep University to help me with my contest prep, and I learned a lot from like both of them. Like to get better. I also did J3 University, which I love. It's also another
Yep.
resource if you guys are listening and you want to learn more. I did the contest prep course. So combination of both, I really feel like got I mean, I did good. I mean, I placed, second my first show back, and then 3 first places like 4 weeks later. Like, I really do feel like I did well, but it was just nice to have, Austin there and to make those decisions. But I also had the data to show him, which I think he liked too, because we ended up peaking for Universe where I got my pro card, actually quite similar to how I did for Bikini, but we threw a burger and fry in there, which I don't think he normally would do. But we I was like panicking. I almost quit 6 days out because I got so lean. I ran like suddenly. And I told him, I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I was way too lean for a vet model. So
What do you think
anyway,
it was that, because that was an interesting journey to stage. I remember hearing a little bit about that. It was like you had done a show, right? And then you got I don't want to butcher it. So can you tell me what that week looked like going in to when you actually
yeah.
got your pro card?
Yeah, so my first shows of the season were May. I mean, that was very early. If you guys have been following Fit Model, the shows really started like there was a couple January, February, all in the the other coast, but like the United States, like over here, like Florida and all the East Coast, like they didn't start to like April, May. So it's still like we're trying to figure it out. We're like, what does soft mean? Like, what does soft look like for me? Well, soft
Yeah.
doesn't look good. Soft and me, we don't look good. The judges I still got like, first places. I got three first places Saturday, and then I did a natural show Sunday, and I still got three first places. I didn't win overall though, because they're like, Britt, we've seen you leaner. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I could do leaner. We're just trying to figure this fit model thing out. So the conditioning, definitely got more conditioned as time went on, because Steve Weinberger judged me, and he was like, excellent, just need to be a little leaner. I'm like, okay, cool. I like leaner. So we
Yeah,
ended
isn't
up
that wild?
yeah, so we ended up just like pushing, we added cardio back in, and ah, I actually think we actually raised carbs. I think we were at 200 carbs going into Junior USA, and Junior USA I missed my pro carb on one spot. Um
Ah,
they wanted me to be fuller, so we just kept reverse dieting. So I had a really good prep. And then I lost weight because of stress. So
okay, fair.
my husband was competing one weekend, and I was packing to go to Universe, and I just dropped 2 pounds like out of nowhere. And I'm
Wow.
shredded. I'm like, I had these like tie-ins, and I'm like, this looks like bikini. This is awful. And I was so self-conscious at the show, because everyone's like,
Oh.
you look amazing. And I'm like, I am way too lean right now, you guys. Like, no.
It's crazy how the judges' feedback can be so different on that, though. Like, we are still trying to figure out fit model, like you said, but different athletes look better with different conditioning.
Yeah, so they like me leaner. So I came in
Good to
my
know.
yeah, so I came in my bikini weight.
Yeah, so then you had a burger and fries going in, and then yeah, it took the stage at bikini weight. That's wild. And Junior
Yeah.
USA's is such a competitive show, by the way. To miss your
Well,
pro
so
card by one spot there had to be painful.
yeah, so there they wanted me fuller and maybe a little bit leaner. So I adjusted posing, and I came in fuller looking with posing, and
Smart.
but I was leaner. We filled out. I was the same weight, but I had a different look, because we did. Was fully depleted, not on purpose. And then Monday, travel day, gave me do like 300 carbs plus burger and fries. I'm like, wow. Okay. My show was Friday. And then so like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we were 330 carbs, I believe. And then which was similar to my universe the year prior. I mean, it wasn't like I felt pretty good about it, because I've done it before. I would have, probably been pooping myself. I never did it. I'd be like, what are you talking about? 330 carbs. So yeah. So it
That
went
is
well.
that is amazing. And yeah, so good to be able to reverse in like that and just know that you're being able to get so full. And I mean, I guess the good thing about coming in a little bit too conditioned is that you have a little bit more of a buffer, right, for loading up those carbs. Like, okay, she's not going to spill as quickly as somebody who we're trying to carb up and they just don't have the buffer for it.
We did that in May to give that soft look, and your hair is you're getting notes from Diana. I'm like trying to see. We tried the soft, not as lean and fill out with the 300 carbs. Yeah, we didn't like that look. It's fine though. He was learning with me. You have to always learn with your clients. So, when I'm working with clients, when anyone's working with clients, you got to like learn. So he was kind of trying to understand, my body.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, not lean
Well,
enough and you fill out, it usually doesn't look so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure, and I'm sorry if I'm missing anything. So I can see comments on my end. I was logged in on mobile. My phone is way over there, so I can't see questions that are coming in. Brittany, did you say that you're able to see the Q&A?
No, I see. Well, let me see. Let's see if I can see it here. I probably can't, because I'm not your moderator. Like, I'm not a moderator, so I don't see any questions right now.
Okay, we'll just let people know if anyone's watching and has questions for Brittany, feel free to drop them in the comments section where Diana kicked us off with so excited, and then we started struggling to figure out how to get us in frame. But drop your questions at any time in the comments section. I want to make sure that we go through Fit Model 101 because you've really carved out such a unique guru space with this up and coming division, and it's so exciting everything that the division is bringing to the sport. First, I just want to get your take, like philosophically, on the division. Like, what do you think in terms of the need for this in the NPC, in the IFBB, just where it's going to go, like were the people asking for this, all things philosophical related to fit model. What are your thoughts before we go into the nitty gritty of the details?
Yeah, so these are my thoughts. These are not the NPC IFBB thoughts, but I
Sure.
believe, they wanted it to be, so they call it entry level. Remember, entry level just means like the start of all of the divisions. Like I think people kind of skewed what entry level means, right? Doesn't mean you just walk off the street and you do it, but it is the starting point of all of our female divisions of muscularity, right? So it is less muscular than bikini. So that's probably what they mean by entry level. And if you look back when bikini started in 2010, 2011, 2012, it is a different look even from then, because they're shooting for 2015. Ashley Kaltwalter, who
Yep.
won Bikini Olympia. So, 2010, 2011 is actually a little bit less muscular than what is winning currently at these pro qualifiers. And yes, it has changed since the beginning of the year, but there's been more of a pool of people, right? Nobody was really in a lot of people were not in prep in January, February to get on stage. Like there was no way I would have been ready. Even with them
Hmm.
announcing in December, there was no faster route for me to get to where it was because I started in prep in
That's
January.
fair.
You know, so everybody started getting on stage, and that look has changed. I think because we have a bigger pool to select from, so those choices, are getting closer to what Ashley Cotwalter looks like. I think. And remember, Ashley Cotwalter's like the top of that criteria, right? She's the Olympian winner. And I think when next year rolls around and we've got the Olympia, because they have announced that it is going to be at the Olympia, the pro shows do not begin until next year. The word on the street is in Japan in February. In the United States, I'm thinking I have heard maybe word on the street it'll be in the springtime. And our window to qualify is actually going to be very short. It's only going to be till August. So
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
yeah, yeah, August 31st. So we'll have like May to August, unless you want to travel, right? So I do believe once we have that Olympian, we're going to have a better set criteria. But I think really they're bringing it because not everyone can achieve the muscularity of bikini. Maybe naturally, or maybe genetically, or a combination of both, or maybe by what they want to look like. Everyone has different preferences. I know for me, genetically, um, I am better suited for fit model, right? Like I feel like on my physique, even if I decided to go a route of taking a bunch of things, I would never I don't have the shorter muscle bellies. I have a longer muscle belly kind of body type tends to work better for me. But I love bikini. I mean, that doesn't mean I don't love it, right? So like sometimes you have to go where you best compete. Um,
Yeah,
but I think, them bringing it in, it's a lower cost entry too, right? So like having a less expensive suit, it's like $400 less to get a suit, versus a
that's
bikini.
crazy.
And like if you don't love it, right? I have a lot of clients I work with that they literally are like, I want to compete. And then they do it and they're like, okay, that was cool. Not for me. Which is fine, right? But like if they did bikini, they spent a lot of money on those suits, and you spend a lot of money on that whole setup, right? Versus if you did fit model, you would have saved probably $600, $700, Um, so like it is a little bit more entry, right? Because someone just
For
decided
sure.
doesn't want to spend $700 on a suit. Now, obviously, there's routes you can go, right? You could do a rental, you could do a used suit. Like I don't want to say like you guys can't afford it. I'm just saying they're trying to make it a little bit easier for people to try the sport, get more people interested. And some of these brands like to work with people that have just more of a, less shredded look or less muscular look. Some of these companies want that kind of look, right? Like I have a lot of brands I work with, and that's just what they like, right? So that's I believe was their purpose as well, is to get more sponsors, because the more sponsors you have, the more competitors you have. It is a business at the end of the day. The more you have of all of that allows for the whole business to grow. So it allows coaches to grow, it allows companies to grow, it allows the NPC FBB to grow, allows shows to grow, it's a circle, right? So I think that's
Yeah.
the reason behind it. And now when it comes to like information, I do post a lot on my Instagram just what I'm seeing for patterns. Like people are like, oh, you just came out with all this stuff. I'm like, actually, this is all I've been doing this whole year. Austin can vouch for that. The poor guy probably like initially started working with me. He's probably like, this girl's crazy. Like I would send him stuff. I'm like, look, this is what's happening. Cause I didn't want to put it out there at that time. But watching those trends is really important. You have to be a student of the sport. So, I like to put that information out there. So seeing the trends are right on par with criteria. I've heard some people kind of upset. These girls are getting big. If you put us next to bikini girls, we look like total difference.
I love the content that you've been putting out. It's if you guys aren't already following Brittni on Instagram, it's she has so much great content around the sport. So I highly recommend keeping an eye on her Instagram account because she knows what's trending. I want to go back to what you said about it being more entry level, and that's so true. And do you remember, because I honestly don't, in 2010, 2011, when bikini first started, the suits were not what they are now, correct?
Yeah, they did have a connectors though. So, because I have my like pictures of my suits. So, like 2012, my suit was like a basic like fabric like we have now, like the little shiny stuff, right? And then, but it
Yeah.
had connectors. So we're like, ooh, I hope the pros, I hope the pros we can at least have connectors. But I
Yeah.
kind of want the connectors to be honest. I kind of like my suits. Like I've actually gotten kind of comfortable in these things, but yeah, they have like connectors and around the hip bones. I really don't like the connectors on the hip bones. I feel like they get a little, they scrape your skin and then you mess up your tan. So I'm kind of liking the plain. I know not for everyone, but listen, if you get a good suit, you'll like it. That they have fun colors. They're getting better with the suits, right? They're working through them and um
Yeah.
yeah, so the suits are still different than 2012. They are even more
Yes.
basic. But I remember I used to have a hard time even affording those in 2012 because I just started like working my career and like for my birthday, I want a suit, because it's expensive.
The
So
sport is can be very cost prohibitive. So I love that point. And I do think the other things that you said about it fits some people's body types better. And you said that so well about how everyone's muscle bellies and just the way that their muscularity is shaped and built anatomically is different. So there really are a lot of athletes. I've seen some really great athletes in bikini that have beautiful, beautiful structures, but just don't have quite the like density because their muscles are just developed a little differently. And you're right. Like you could throw enhancement. I know some of them that are enhanced. You can throw enhancements at that all day long. It's not going to make the difference to get them into probably like first call outs. And on top of that, whenever you start hearing for the national shows, I mean, I've heard, and I don't agree with this, but I've heard multiple times like, oh, all of the top three are enhanced, blah, 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 blah. So I wish I could be a fly on the wall in that NPC room where they're like, okay, if we have so many people in bikini, the entry level as of a couple years ago,
yeah.
that are actually enhancing that now we have to put out all these pro shows which are I'm sorry natural shows which I know they're still working on but
Yeah.
that's a process and then at some point they were like screw it we just need a new division and then fit models born and where people don't need to enhance to get into it which is great
I actually
not that
totally
you have
agree.
to enhance to be in bikini I want to say that as a caveat.
No, and actually, I do want to tell you guys, I have a friend that just got second at Universe, and she's totally natural. She did Pittsburgh
Yep.
natural. She didn't do as well there. She came in too dry. I mean, she came in like 5 pounds heavier at Universe, but she totally natural. She's like right there, and listen. I know she's gonna get a pro card. So please, if you guys are listening, she just has the genetics for it. She also naturally runs, I think, higher on testosterone, but um and the testosterone is not going to make or break you by the way either, but she just has that muscle shape. She has a little bit more like fullness. Actually, Tyler even told her to streamline her shoulders more because they're so big, like they're so, you know
Yep.
what I mean, like so at the end of the day it doesn't matter. And I actually spoke to a judge recently about this in Florida. He's a pro level judge and he judged North Americans. And I said, a lot of these bikini girls are looking to switch to fit model because they feel that, they're going to have to take a lot of drugs to do bikini. He goes, I don't know where these people are getting this from because you just need better coaching practices where you don't need as
Yeah.
much drugs and you're actually just getting conditioned the right way. Like we did back in the day, like there's way more drugs now than there used to be. And he was like a 212 bodybuilder. Okay. Like he's like, I don't know why these bikini girls can't just like, that most of the time it's conditioning problem. He said most of the time it's conditioning. He's like, I don't really think it's as much muscle as they think because I saw a pro bikini girl did Daytona and he judged it. And she was like, I think I need to switch to Fit Model. And they're like, you're not Fit Model. You have too much muscle. They're like, you just need to condition yourself. And they're like,
Fair. Good feedback.
yeah. And then I spoke to them about North Americans and I said, listen, so what did you see about Fit Model? And they're like, because there was two judges in Florida, and they're like, a lot of the girls came out way too big for Fit Model. And we told them to go back to bikini. They're coming out, they're way too wide in their shoulders. And they're like, that's not Fit Model. And we've been told that we need to keep it clear. There is a clear difference between these two divisions. And I just saw Canada did their competition and had pro winners, and they chose for the one that was less lean. So you gotta pay attention to the criteria. Like they can't help who shows up though, because the whole other class was all of them were lean. The whole B class to the A,
Yeah.
B was everyone was lean, so they had to pick one, and then the A class winner won, and she was less lean. Same with the 40 plus
Interesting.
girl. Now, the 40 plus year old, she was a lot less lean, but she also didn't have the right posing, so I'm kind of curious about that, but that's not my business. But bring
But you're
a
doing a great job trending it either way.
yeah, I was watching. I was like, she's in a bikini front pose, but like, listen, you guys just do a front pose, a transition, a back pose, a transition, front pose. And the transition shouldn't be like a very long stop or anything. Keep it short and sweet. Try to make it different than bikini. You really only need to do like one little step to turn around, and it can be either the S pose or the side glute pose and turn around. You don't need to make it too much extra. Um, a lot of people always ask me, do we need to do the arms? I'm like, no, the judges say it all the time. Like the judge, wherever your hand is going, the judge is going to look at that hand real quick, and they're not going to look at your physique. And it's distracting to them.
Yeah.
Um, for bikini and Fit Model. I mean, they say it all the time. Just keep it simple. So you don't have to add because I know a lot of people, I think like a random cute arm is cool, but like don't do all of this. That's just a lot.
Can you talk us through first? Well, actually, let's stay on posing because that's a big part of the rules. Can you talk us through like what the Fit Model division consists of for posing?
Yeah, so you'll walk on stage, you'll get right to your square, just hit your front pose. Don't do a lot of extravagant stuff. Just hit your front pose. And the front pose is a staggered stance. So you pretty much you're standing there, your shoulder width apart. You do not stand sideways like bikini. So just take your one foot, you could choose either or, does not matter which foot you want. Put it out to the side at like a 45 degrees. So your toes are going to face like 45 degrees. You could maybe do parallel, but it's gonna make you look a little weird. You're gonna be too sideways. So like a 45 degree. So if you're pretending your arm is a clock, you're at like um, you know, if you're looking at the clock like straight down, you would be at like 10 o'clock, but 45 degrees, that's all you need. Just foot
Yeah.
out. And then the other foot, you take it away and open it up away from your body. Now, if you open it in front of you or on the side of you, is really dependent on your body, right? So I don't want to say like this is exactly how
Oh,
you should do your
interesting.
front pose. I have some clients that are a little bit more sideways. I have some that are like with their leg. I have some that are like a little bit more forward. Um, it's really positional. Some people do a slight bend in their knees, some do it completely straight. Really depends on your physique. It's not all about the glute in the front pose. So a lot of people are kind of missing that. It's not, because two of the girls that got first place at Universe did not have any front glute in their front pose. So try not to get that messed up.
Huh.
Misunderstood. You have one hand on your hip, and that hand is the one with your stance leg, and the other arm is straight. You want to minimize your waist, so make sure you're tilting into that. But it's pretty much like somewhat straight on. And then
Hmm.
your transition, like I said, you could do like a ass pose transition, you could do a side glute transition, or you could just do literally a step over and turn to the back. Back pose is the same as bikini, so shoulder width apart, hands down, stand tall, don't bend over, push your glutes
Yeah.
back, put them up to the sky, but don't bend over at your back. And then
Yeah.
transition back to the front. So you could choose the S pose, you could choose the side glute pose, and then hit your front pose again. So it's very simple. So front, transition, back, transition, front, walk off.
Yes, it's Okay, we say it's simple because it's those two poses, but there is so much that goes into it, and you do have really great videos on your Instagram about this with the transitions too. For anyone who's just learning it, do you have some tips for them for like kind of just getting the basics down so they don't get overwhelmed with everything?
Yeah, just focus on the front pose more than anything, front and back. So once again, just make sure your staggered stance. You're not too sideways. You're literally like almost like in a V, where you have one foot
Hmm.
here, one foot here. Play around with that foot position, whatever feels the most comfortable for you. Focus on minimizing the waist by turning it to the stance leg. So whatever one you choose. Keep your shoulders level and face them towards the judges. That's as simple as I could make that front pose.
It's a really pretty pose too. I love that front pose. It makes more sense to me than the bikini front pose.
I
It looks great.
low-key did not like it. It took hours upon hours for me to figure it out. But now I actually know every version of a staggered stance pose that I just play around with. So it's good because now
Yeah,
I have data. I know how to put some like because I had a girl. She actually just won overall this week. This last weekend I posed her and she has a
awesome.
hip problem where her hips don't move and she has a very short torso, like I want to say this tall. So we could
Oh my
actually,
gosh.
yeah, so like she would show me her pelvic bones and stuff. She's like, I can't move, I promise. I'm like, dude, this is weird. So anyway, I worked through it. We got a decent front pose. She won the overall, and then actually ended up working on her back pose more than anything at the end. It was hilarious. I'm like, we like started with just the front pose, and yeah, we figured it out. It's very just like up and down with one leg out to the side. She's just on her toe because that worked the best for her. So remember, it has to work for you.
Good, good. Okay, what are some of the most common mistakes that you're seeing with people who are just starting out in the division and getting used to posing?
Standing too sideways or taking your like position like you're in a bikini front pose. So like literally having your
Hmm.
foot sideways and then just putting your leg like in front. Like I could actually show you, might help. So a lot of times I'm seeing people, they'll be in a bikini front pose like this. And then you see like nothing. Like, do you see my physique? Like, is there anything there, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So a lot of people do that, but all you want to do is just split your stance leg, other leg. So my waist is here,
Uh-huh.
and then you can play around with your legs. So you could be here. You gotta find what works for you. You could put your leg out to here, you could put it to here, you could put it here. And it's really dependent, right? But all your weight's gonna be in that stance leg. So this whole leg is free.
And stance leg, just for everyone watching, that's the one that you have your hand on. That, yep.
Yeah. And if you did it on this side, which I never pose on this side, but same thing. So you just kind of play
Switching
with this.
sides posing is so hard.
Yeah, so you just play with this leg and see what looks best for you. Like, I know some girls really liked this, and it just looked best for their body type, especially if they came from bikini. A lot of them liked this, but if you're a bikini and you have a lot of delt, you've got to make sure it levels you out and you're not twisting too much. So a lot of bikini girls, I have them just more like level, so the leg matches the shoulder. You just gotta play with it.
Yeah. Okay. And can you go just go through the transition? So the transition to back pose, if you don't mind, while we have you.
Yeah, so this would be an S, and then you could do just turn right to the back, right? This would be this would be a side glute pose and turn to the back. You could do combination like you are in bikini, which plenty of girls do, where they do the S, side glute, back. And then to turn around, it's the same thing, right? So some girls kind of do a little sway, step back, turn to the front, or you could do step back, turn to the front, which is what I do. Or you could do a the sway, step back, turn. Then that's too long, I think, but people do that. There's so many ways.
Cute, cute. I do really like the posing in this division. I think it's great.
Yeah,
And
it's
thank you.
no, you're welcome. Hopefully that helps some people, especially on the replay. I don't see any questions here still, so
Okay. And then can you talk through some of the criteria? We got into this a little bit in the very beginning, just what the judges are actually looking for,
Yeah.
and the rules would be really helpful too, because they are a little bit different.
Yeah, so go make sure you guys go to NPC News Online, but the criteria is muscularity that is less than bikini pro qualifying level, definitely pros, right? So less muscle than bikini. Conditioning is less conditioned than bikini, so you have less sharp of tie-ins. You have less sharp of like even in your shoulders. That conditioning there is a big difference. Um, I don't think I ever got lean enough for bikini. That's why I was my bikini weight, right? Like I was always the softer bikini look. So just making sure that you bring that conditioning where you're not too lean. They really don't want you too lean. They will tell you to fill back, fill out or be less lean or go to bikini. I do know a lot of girls didn't do as well when they came in too lean. They really want like a full, like healthy look. And that comes from muscle density. So I think a lot of people might confuse that, they can come in skinny looking or something like that, but you need to have that fullness. They like nice full legs. I know the feedback is generally full legs, and that comes from muscle with some body fat over it a
Yeah.
little bit, right? Um, they don't want too much muscle in the legs either, though. If you're very athletic looking in your quads, they'll say then that's pushing it too much too. So it's a fine balance. Um, for the rest of their criteria, like I said, they just want a front and back pose, no stopping in your transitions. It's a 10-second long posing routine.
Hmm.
No T walks. You just walk right to the square, you pose, walk off. Um, what was the other question you asked? Oh, the suits. No,
Suits. Yeah.
no, no jewels on your suit, no connectors, 50% glute coverage. I know some people are pushing that, but should be 50% coverage on your glutes. And then your heels are the clear heels. I actually even recommend people don't even bother with like the glitter on your heels. Just keep it super simple. I actually feel like if you're very glittery on the heels, I don't know why, but my eyes actually go to them. I'm not the judge though,
Oh,
but
interesting.
and they shouldn't matter, but for some reason, I just keep looking at the shoes and I'm like, why am I so distracted? So obviously, it's not
Yeah.
against the rules, but for my preference, if someone's going to ask me and be like, if you're going to pick a shoe, just pick the plain one. I actually
Yeah.
just slip on Fabulous Lip 101. Those are my favorite. They're so basic, $45, but like that is my shoe this year. I did Shoe Fairy last year. I've fallen in love with just these fabulous Lip 101. I mean, like those are my jams. I'm on my like gonna get my third pair. Like I love those.
I love those too. I can vouch. They've been so good to me. I've had them for every show I've done. I've actually like nothing against Shoe Fairy. I know people love
Yeah,
them. I've never had a pair of Shoe Fairies. Like I just because the other brand's been great. I love them. I used to the ones that actually have a strap on them, and I feel
yeah,
super secure in them. They're awesome.
yeah. I don't have any strap, and I like it because I could just slip them off in pump ups, and like they're
Yes.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in regards to like the criterion muscle muscularity, if you got a lot of delt, y'all, you gotta pick which division you're gonna do, or you're just not gonna train upper body. I know a lot of I make jokes all the time. I'm like the only fit model that has to train shoulders, but like most of the fit model girls are not training shoulders. Like recent ones that went pro, girls that turned pro, they were telling me I haven't trained shoulders in like months, and I'm like, dang, really? Like I had tendonitis because I was training it 3 times a week. Like I just don't have that. That's why I feel like it's genetically a really good division for me because I still have to like push hard. But yeah, if you have really big delts, just a heads up, just tame them down. Tame them down if you really love fit model, or just keep growing in bikini because the judges told me that they're like, listen, we're seeing these girls come, but at the end of the day, you just need glutes. Still need glutes for both divisions. They're not going to be as big, but like the girls that are transitioning, they said we're seeing that they still need glutes, even for fit model. Like, but they have the upper body for bikinis. So they're like, just grow your glutes.
Yeah, that I noticed the same thing. Like looking at the fit model girls, like they still have really bubbly, like great glute development. Are you seeing that most people, I don't want to say outsize, but like don't fit the criteria because of shoulders, or is it because of like is that the main thing, shoulders?
Yeah, they just look very muscular to me compared to me. Like to me, I'm like, wow, you're
What
jacked.
about
They're
what
like, look
about
at this.
legs?
Yeah, it's mostly the upper body density. Just overall density. There is a clear, like you could see it compared to the ones on stage. They immediately put them in second call out, so we're out to the side.
Wow.
Yeah, it is what I've been seeing. And I've been just in-person shows and online, right? So like obviously your vision can skew, but I've also been into pro qualifiers, so I've seen it, right? So I know, and I've spoken to girls that I met and they're like, yeah, my shoulders are still too big. So you guys just really got to be careful of those shoulders, especially because I know some people are switching from bikini. I know a lot of people are talking about, but there's pros coming from pro bikini to fit model. I'm like, yeah, but I've asked the judges about this because I've been kind of anxious because I am smaller. I'm like, what do you think about those? They're like, they still have to fit the criteria. It doesn't mean we're automatically going to just choose all the bikini pros. They're like, that doesn't make sense. So,
I
and
can
actually,
see where the I can see where the concern would come from because bikini got so much bigger over time. But I
yeah.
think you're right though. Like you have like that's they are holding the division where they're holding it, like the criteria where they're holding it on purpose. And they seem to be being very intentional about that.
Yeah, they are. And I did, like I said, I did ask them and they said, well, at the end of the day, they're gonna have to downsize and still have to fit the criteria. So there's just nothing to worry about, right? Because you still got to fit the criteria. So like me just worrying isn't going to do anything. And actually, most of the pros that I know were told not to change anything to go into next year. I got feedback to grow. So like y'all keep seeing me like, wow, she's still growing. I'm like, I have to. Like that's my feedback. But like a lot of them were told to just stay the same. So
Okay. And good
yeah.
luck downsizing shoulders, really. Like once if you have
Hard.
shoulders, like yeah, exactly. I mean, there are people actually in bikini. Oh man, I'm Brittany Hamilton is a good example
Yeah.
of someone who had to like grow into her shoulders over years because she's
Yeah.
had a ton of shoulder density. They're hard to downsize.
Yeah, I know she's been working on that actually. I was following her when she was kept being told to be smaller for bikini. So like I think, you got to remember like it's it still comes down to shape. They said it's still a shape contest at the end of the day. Like trust me, I ask a lot of questions. So I'm like, wow, what is this? They're like, it's shape. They're like, either you got the shape or you don't. So if you don't do well in bikini, you might still not do well in fit model. You've got to grow that shape. I had a live with Emily Chanel, so I'm doing a lot of pro lives on Instagram, and Emily was saying, the reason why we have to build the muscle is to create that shape, right? So like if I don't have wide clavicles, which I don't, I have to grow wider with my back training and my delts, right? But then you'll take a girl that with wide clavicles, there's a few that went pro, they actually don't have to build the delts, right? They have that width. Which is nice and lucky for them, right? Makes it a little bit easier. But then they say it's not that good because then their bottom half has to catch up to their clavicle width. So they said it's actually hard, So it's kind of nice when you chat about these different things. You're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Like, oh, then that throws off your balance. But what I'm seeing for patterns is a nice width created by muscle, but you're not like big in the delts, right? You're having that taper and it's mostly coming from back, but don't,
Hmm.
confuse it with like back density. It's like just that shape, right? And you're able to turn into that shape with your posing. That posing can make or break you. I was just working on my friend today for tomorrow for Olympia, and I tweaked her posing because I said, you look like you're just standing there. And now she has more shape, which makes her taper look better because they want an aesthetic taper into a small waist. That waist is going to be such a big component to fit model. And if your waist is a little too big for bikini, it's going to be a lot harder in fit model because you are more forward. It is harder. I had to really
Yeah.
I had to really make sure we got our waist. The problem I had to get so small for is because my waistline was bigger than it. They kept telling me I had to get my waist leaner. They are looking at that stomach more than bikini because you're not sideways. So fit model, if you have a very small waist, that might be really great for you. If you struggle with your waist already in bikini, it's gonna be hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's harder because you're in that weird tweak front-ish pose.
It, but there are some people who I can picture that I've competed with or just know from the sport who have very, very small waists and have a hard time putting on muscles. So the division really is serving a great purpose to give people that space to step into where they can excel with the body type that they have.
Yeah.
What other advice do you have for people who are just coming into the sport? Because I mean, it's getting a huge influx of new athletes that it's bringing into the sport, which is fantastic. So, what is some general advice that you have for people who are just getting started and want to step on stage in the near future?
So if you're listening, because I know we got a lot of first time competitors, definitely get in a routine of exercise, being consistent on your nutrition through weekends, I would say, because weekends can kind of bomb out your physique a little bit. Focus on building up your body parts to have a nice balanced physique. Remember, it's balance at the end of the day of any division except wellness, right? Wellness, see a little bit smaller than
Yeah.
perfect. For the most part, bikini and fit model, you want to have that balance with your upper to lower, grow the glutes. I mean, you're not going to go around growing your glutes in either divisions. And try to build up your shoulders. And if you see that you're growing bigger and bigger, awesome. You can grow into bikini. You could switch to bikini. You could start at fit model. I've had some people start at fit model and they're like going through prep and then they're like, wow, I look really muscular. As they got leaner, they switched to bikini.
Yeah.
There was a girl literally this weekend that I kept watching her. I'm like, girl, I don't know. You got a lot of muscle there. I'm like, you don't need to be in bikini. And she's like, oh, I don't think so. I don't know. Dude, she just won overall in bikini, you know?
Oh my gosh. Well, you called it.
Yeah. I was like, I told you, girl. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I know like some people like ask me my opinion and then I'll tell them, they're like, well, I'm still gonna stay in fit model. I'm like, listen, I promise you, like, why, like, don't hold yourself back, don't try to fit yourself in this little hole, because you have a lot of nice beautiful muscle. You just need to work on tweaking a few things. Most of the time it's waist control, even in bikini. I already
Mhm.
know because I've had some clients, they're like, your waist, you dropped your waist, you lost a position, right? Like,
Ugh.
waist control in both divisions is key. So if you have great muscle, and especially in the upper body, you just need to grow the glutes. Just keep growing the glutes. Just keep growing. But I understand people feel like there's a cap off. There's a cap off to bikini because they feel like they're just getting so big. But I don't know. Like, I know this is about fit model, but I've been seeing some trends with these bikini girls doing the Olympia, and I have my Olympia prediction up. And these girls are smaller than y'all think. Like, I've taken pictures with Laura Lee, Alice Roca, because I'm friends with her, and and I've been seeing like Jasmine Gonzalez. They're looking small. Amy's looking smaller. Listen, if these girls are coming in smaller in the Olympia and win, I'm gonna be so happy because like I feel like it's a good look. Like, they're a little bit smaller. I've seen a pattern. Laura Lee's even, she said she's coming in like 3 or 4 pounds heavier, fuller, more curvy this season.
Wow.
So listen, y'all,
Oh,
I'm
that's so
watching those
interesting.
patterns. I'm watching those patterns because it impacts fit model a little bit. So I am making sure and staying in tune with these bikini girls. But I'm like, I'm seeing a little bit softer looks. Like, I like it a
Yeah.
shot. And I'm
And
hoping that this is where we go.
everyone that you just named has a really nice streamlined look, and they do look like they have so much muscle in the pictures, but when you see them in person, and I've done the same thing where I've like stood next to them, I've had pictures with them, and they're normal sized women, like they seem
Yeah.
like they're just carrying all this muscle, but they're actually pretty normal sized women in person. Like, there's nothing normal about them. Like, they're elite athletes, they're
Yeah.
fantastic, but they're not as muscular as you would think.
No.
I love seeing that. It's really encouraging.
And Alice just won Southern Showdown, and she lives near me. And listen, I've taken multiple pictures next to her, and like I'm like, dude, and I don't have big shoulders, as we know. My arm didn't look that much smaller, or that like that, because you would think it'd be like boom, and it's really not. And Laura Lee, people were like, Britt, look at your delt. I'm like, why y'all talking about my delt? Like, I liked it though because I had a delt injury, like I had a rotator cuff injury. I'm like, I'll take the compliment.
Oh,
But yeah, yeah. Oh, I got my pro card. That's how much the shoulders, don't matter as much. Like, I had a rotator cuff injury for 3 weeks going in, and I got my pro card. That's how much
oh
small
my
my shoulders.
gosh.
Yeah, so like
Well, it
full.
also says so much about like how strong you are for the overall shape too. I mean, like, that sucks. I have a cuff
Yeah,
injury. I bet that was so rough even with posing, but
it
it just
sucks.
says so much about how they're looking at this shape.
Yeah, so my feedback was, Becky, I know Becky's in here, but she's probably busy with the Olympia, but Becky was like, because she judged me at Junior USA. And then, so I went back to Universe because I didn't know Becky was judging, but Tyler was judging Universe. So I was like, oh, wait, I want Tyler to judge me again because he's like, you just need be a little bit fuller. So I tweaked my posing. So all I did, tweaked my pump
Hmm.
up and, continue to reverse diet. And then Becky goes, actually, and Tyler even said, actually, you need your upper body to match your lower body. So now you need a little bit more on your shoulders. But I was like, yeah, I know. I had an injury. Like, totally agree. So my feedback
Yeah.
for USA was nothing about my shoulders. They weren't like, you need more shoulders. So, whatever. It is what it is.
So
But yeah,
what is
if you guys are looking to start with practicing your front pose, your back pose, getting into a routine, being consistent, number one. How many fit model athletes are you seeing in Masters 40 plus? Thank you for the question. Oh, it pops up on my phone, of course. I see it over here. So, just a heads up, I am 41, and it was really cool at Universe because three of us took open pro cards, and we were 40. So I got the 40. I got class A winner, so first place, and I got second in 40A. The person that beat me in 40A got her pro card in open B first place. And then the girl that beat her in the overall 35 and 40 got second in open B and got a C and got her pro card. So three of us in our 40s got open pro cards at Universe, and there was only eight, right? Two, four, six, eight. Yeah,
Mhm.
eight. So us 40-year-olds were pretty good.
Yeah.
In our 40 classes for Universe, because that was the first pro qualifier for Masters, there was 40 girls. 40, 14 and 16, something like that in 40. And then I went to Masters Nationals and I watched it in person. So I did see like the live. We got pros in 35 and 40 in each height class. So there were 8 pros there as well. I think in 45, I think they had pro cards. I would have to check my notes for that one. I believe I post because I did post about it, and now I'm like, dude, did they give the pro cards to 45? I think they did, but I don't want to say yes. I know they didn't give it in 50, so I think they did 45. So there was um 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think that is what they did. So they did 40 and 45. And then North Americans, they gave out overall pro cards to the top two overall in 40. So there was 2 pros, but actually that 40-year-old got second in open as well. So like the 40-year-olds really are doing well in fit model. So I inspire you guys, encourage you all
Yeah.
to the inspiring stories of the other pros, and they are gorgeous. Like the one that won 40 overall, I knew she was going to get a pro card before she even competed. I saw her like on Instagram. I'm like, that girl's going to get a pro card. Got a pro card. It's just a look. And when I talk to my friends about it all the time, I'm like, it's just a look, and I can't like nail it. It's just a look. Like you gotta fit model. The reason why they have model, you gotta have the glam. You gotta bring your full package because they are looking at you as like maybe a magazine cover, right? We're not really gonna probably get like, well, we could, but I mean that's not really why they're having us win. But like you gotta remember, it's something they would see on a magazine cover, right? So you still have to have the whole package. Your skin's gonna be really good. Your hair and makeup, tight conditioning, but not overly conditioned. So it's just a kind of a blend of everything, and have that personality on stage. If all eyes are on you, you're probably gonna like win.
Your whole presentation, right? That's a great question. Guys, if you have any other questions, please drop them in the comment section while we have Brittni here so that she can answer your questions. If we miss anyone's questions, Brittni, where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me. I put a lot on my Instagram at BShaeFit, BShaeFit. I'm like, gosh, I don't remember my name. And then actually all of my social media is BShaeFit, BShaeFit. So TikTok, Instagram, and then Facebook's Brittni Shae. But I post in the group. You guys can post questions in the group. I usually answer, them if they're about fit model or bikini. I I do have a YouTube, but I've been a little quiet. But I do have my 13-week journey to my debut in Fit Model. So if you guys want to watch
Oh, I
that, it's
love
kind of old
that.
now. It's kind of old, but that's also Brittni Shae or BShaeFit on YouTube. I am coming back to YouTube. I've just been so busy catching up to things, and I have a few more brands I started working with, so I've been a little bit busier. I did get officially sponsored by Toxic, so I was happy about that.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was working with them, but now I'm like their Fit Model sponsored athlete, so I was really excited about that. So
That's a
yeah,
huge
the
deal. I love
suits.
their suits.
Thanks. Yeah, so I've been like a little busy because I have like now I have to keep up with all of that. We got one more question. Jewelry question: sparkly as bikini or not? Like big
Mm.
earrings and bracelets or smaller? I think a happy medium, like just something that looks nice on your face. Um, just bracelets, couple bracelets, a couple rings, nice earrings that fit your body and your hairstyle. Like I switched out my earrings. Like I did some nice thin ones if my hair was really like curly. I did bigger ones if my hair was a little straighter and combed out here. So like just go with what looks good. Have a few sets. Honestly, you guys, you could just go to the mall, go to Claire's and go to icing. Like honestly, that's what I did this season. I'm like, that was way easier. And what body fat percentage are most people coming in at? I
That's a
don't
great
know.
question.
I don't know because I don't check my body fat percentage. I've been competing a long time and I know most of the girls are probably not checking it. You want to, once again, always go based upon your look. So bringing your physique down enough to conditioning that is enough for stage. Because remember, stage weight and stage conditioning is different than an everyday gym goer. So just remember that because if we show up as our lean state for the beach or gym, we're not going to be lean enough for stage. A pound or two can make a big difference because I know when I was in May, I was like 107.4 and I looked at it, they said you need to be way leaner. Like Britt, we've seen you leaner. What is this? And I'm like, okay. So then I did 106.4. It was only a pound, but it made such a difference to the body composition. Now that can change though, right? So like my off season now, my waist is like barely up and I'm up a lot. I'm up in what am I up like? That right now. I'm up 10 pounds from my lowest, right? But my waist is only like an inch up. So like we're thinking for my pro debut, I can come in heavier. Like that's our goal. So I don't have to fill out so hard because I'm already there, I'm there because my waist is where it needs to be. So just go by your look. Of course, if I go on stage and we're like, oh, that still didn't work, then you try again, right? You bring down that body fat by diet, exercise. Um,
Yeah. It's
it's
such a good
all your
question,
look.
but we don't really go by body fat percentage in the sport. That's why you always hear people say like a little bit softer, a little bit
Yeah.
tighter, drier, because it's I mean, for as much as Brittany obviously loves data points, like a lot of us really love data points. If there was a body fat percentage we could shoot for, like we would tell you, but there really isn't one. But it's a great question.
It's a great question. And like I said, it's always based upon look. That's why it was important for me to have help this season just to look at me because I could be like, oh, I need to be leaner. And then like I would be too lean, or then I
Yeah.
checked and I was too lean. And I actually look back and I was like, oh, that was a pretty good look. Okay, that would have been dumb quitting. Filling out was great from there, right? So I'm like, that was silly.
Hmm.
So it's funny because you think you need to be leaner, you think you'd be fuller, but maybe you don't. You have to get up there and get that feedback. Those judges are going to be the most important people. So make sure you guys stay, get your feedback. Also, make sure you send them an email if that's how they give you your feedback. But ask the judges. And if your coach tells you don't ask the judges, they're silly because the judges are
Yeah.
the ones picking the winners and you've got to get your feedback or you're not going to. The only way to improve is by getting feedback, and that's the only reason why I looked so much different from May to July is by taking that feedback, taking 4 weeks between each show and working on that and bringing something different. That's how I look drastically different from my pictures in May to July, is applying feedback from
Yep.
judges, especially the ones that matter. Like I went right to Tyler for my two pro qualifiers for feedback. That's why I know what to work on because he's the boss, right?
Yeah. And
And
they
once
notice
again,
when
just
you
watch.
apply that feedback, like if you're competing a lot, the judges will pay attention and notice if you're applying their feedback and listening to them. So for sure, talk to the judges for feedback.
100%. Becky said that when she saw me after university because I went and got my feedback. I'm like, I know I won, but I need to know what to work on. I'm like, I'm glad y'all thought it was good, but what can I do to be better next year? She's like, I saw you applied that feedback. Like, so it's nice when
Yeah.
they see that you did that, right? They like seeing those changes. Like Tyler wanted fuller legs. That's exactly what I brought with a broken arm or whatever I had going on. Like I brought those fuller legs, though. I brought the fuller legs. So
So this has been amazing, Brittni. If anybody else has any questions, please drop them in as we're wrapping up. Brittni, what is next for you? When do we get to see you compete again?
yeah, so we're waiting for the pro schedule to come out. And right now I'm actively building, for that, building up the shoulders, building up a little bit more taper, mostly my hamstrings, glutes, and some quad, you guys. Just train your quads. But right now, just trying to keep an off season that's tight, much tighter than I've ever been in. I will say I'm treating my off season kind of like prep, very consistent. I'm not going out to eat a lot. It's under a lot of it's under a lot of positive pressure from Austin, but it's something I needed because if we don't have to bring down as hard, and I can keep more size on me, we think it's going to be better for the pro league. But yeah, we're waiting for the schedule. So the earliest I'll be on stage, who knows? I actually don't know because
Yeah.
we're going to be just ready to pull the trigger. Is kind of why he wants me to stay tight, right? So
Yep.
we're the physique is, pretty tight considering I'm 10 pounds up. I mean, I had abs today, which is weird. And I'm just hammering it in the gym, he tells me to keep enjoying the clean gains. Um,
Yeah.
but off season, you guys, that's where the work is. So try to enjoy it. Try to enjoy the reverse diet into the off season. I did a recovery phase this time because I had no choice because I had an injury where I took a lot of time off from training, which is hard.
It
Hard.
is really hard, yes, but it pays off. Your physique is looking amazing. And thank you so much for all of the great content that you've been sharing and just being such an ambassador for the sport. We really appreciate it. And thank you too. We mentioned this earlier, so Brittni, definitely reach out to her across her socials, but make sure, guys, there's a Fit Model chat in the community chats, and Brittni's very active in there. She's great about answering questions in there too. So whether you post it in the group or you post it in the community chat, um, there are a lot of coaches that are happy to answer your questions, but Brittni's been great about answering those fit model specific questions, especially.
Yeah, yeah, you guys feel free to ask. I am open book. Like you guys could take my feedback or you don't, right? Like it's fine. I'll keep reassuring you. Like I trust me. I'm not gonna like lie to you. There's nothing for me to lie to you about, right? You know what I mean? So, like, whatever you guys want to do with my information, cool. If you guys want to learn more, go on my Instagram. I will be posting after the Olympia Amateur tomorrow, what I saw, what are the themes I'm seeing. And I also give just tips. So, if you guys need any tips, like how to bring the best on stage or posing things, I post them throughout the month. I kind of spread it out. It's been a little quiet. We've had a little bit of a lag right now since North Americans, but thank you guys. Thanks for everything. I was just making sure I got all the notes. And thanks for having me on, Chelsea, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, great to see you, Brittni. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Lauren.